This video is based around the work that we did uh, in the voice lessons. So over the this will also go into the uh, personal reflection log. So over the weeks we worked on just started off with breathing techniques, and I'm thinking about the um I'm thinking about how to speak in the very simple terms of it. So we So we started off with just some simple breathing techniques, such as how to get ready, like how to simply start breathing. And one of the breathing techniques, obviously, to start off with is just lying on your back. Make sure you're nice and your back is spread as much as it can be across the floor. Shoulders relaxed, everything's relaxed. You just kind of shake your wrists out, let them fall to the side. Make sure you're breathing into your diaphragm. That's the main thing that you need to focus on. That's the main thing I need to focus on is your diaphragm. And so over the weeks, we looked at where sounds come from, like how we speak, and it started off with um, so we started off by making the like by we did these sheets of phonetics, basically different words and how to say things. Um, and basically we had all these words and everything, the different would be said in different ways in different accents. So we've been focusing a lot on accents, and we started off just by doing the RP sort of accents. I'll do the first two lines of that now. Um, as the pen fell far to the floor, Amy watched it hit the linoleum. She knew she couldn't have caught that pen if Brian threw it to her from his greasy old hands. I'm not sure how good exactly that was properly, but working on it, the proper pronunciation of all the things, so kind of dropping any specific things in my accent, whereas I would normally I drop T's a lot of the time. I need to remember that I need to say the T's in the words and in the middle of words to in order to pronounce the things properly, and also using the THs properly as well. And so over the so then we worked on London uh, accents. So obviously not, but the main thing with accents, we need to make sure that it's not extremely over the top, like stereotypical accent. Like normally when people think London, they usually start to automatically think of they either think of extremely posh like the Queen, or they're talking about Cockneys, and there's never any in between really. Like people, they never really have a proper understanding of the accent because it's a lot more complex than it seems. And whereas it was a lot easier for me to work on that accent because that's where I'm from. I am from London, and so for me to do the phonetics in the general term of how to speak like a Londoner, it's just basically just doing it how I'd say it. And of course there are some things that apparently I'd get wrong. So whereas I personally would say water, um, apparently a from the MLE, the multicultural London English accent, would still include the T in it, so they'd say water. But I don't know. And well, I just obviously I've got to be considerate of that, and my accent has dropped over the years of being up here. Like I'm nowhere near like as southern as I could be, but But it was a lot easier basically. It was just an easier job for me to in order to do that, and so doing the phonetics in that really gave me an idea of how I speak. And again, we focused um, on the same paragraph for the key accent and words, and we did it in a we got some time to read it through and think about how you pronounce it in a London accent. This is really good because of course a lot of the words are are pronounced like very differently in different accents. So this particular set of paragraphs will help quite a bit with developing an accent. So I'll read the first paragraph for you in the MLE, the Modern Multicultural London English accent. As the pen fell far to the floor, Amy watched it hit the linoleum. She knew she couldn't have caught that pen if Brian threw it to her from his greasy old hands, but she picked it up and wrote the directions to her ass. She cleared her throat, but her words still sounded hoarse. I feel like it's a bit fast there. And of course, I've still got to. And doing this, I'm aware. I'm just reading through that. Then I realise I need to slow down with how I say things in order to get the correct pronunciation out of it, and also the clearest possible result. Being able to so you can understand me. And so working on accents, we're on this website. I don't remember what it was called, but basically it's got different audio clips from interviews with people from these different places to these different accents. And after doing that London accent, we started to work on a Scottish accent. And obviously, I'm not going to do an over the top Scottish accent right now. I'm not going to do a Scottish accent now at all. But something we noticed when we were watching some of the audio clips from the interviews with actual Scottish people were that they replaced their I's with an E sound, an EA with just like an E. So learn instead of be lane. Would that be right? Nah, that's not right. I don't remember anymore. But an EA sound would make more of an EE sound. They roll their R's quite a bit. That's something that is interesting. And their O's are extended so much to the point where it becomes an or sound. So working on that is an interesting process, and one of the other things as well is something else we've been working on rather than just speaking like with words is being aware of the is working on being aware of who we're talking to and who our target is, making the sound bounce off of something. So whereas I'm talking to my phone right just in front of me, I don't need to speak very loudly. But if I was speaking to the other side of the room, I'd need to speak a bit louder, like I am just now. And if I was speaking to someone out of my room, I need to speak even louder. So it's the idea of being more considerate. And so I need to be, especially when we're working in the studio, I need to be more considerate of the microphone, because the microphone's quite sensitive and will end up making a crackling sound if it picks up too much sound, and it doesn't sound very nice. It's not good quality. So whereas when working on a stage, it's always a set. It's always just project to the back of the room, project all the way to the back. It's like just kind of, I can do that. I can project quite loud, but to be able to be more considerate of who I'm talking to and where my sound is going is certainly going to be interesting. And so to work on that by standing at one end of the room and then saying it to a close point, and then saying a sound to a medium point of the room, and then saying a sound to the far end of the room. Obviously being more, and also kind of having an extended sound. So kind of saying like a ma until the sound gets to the other side of the room. That we used all of this to just, I suppose I'm gonna be using this to like, it's giving me the idea to be more considerate of how much sound I'm making. And a lot of people, I suppose that could be a problem. I mean, if it also depends on that character as well, I suppose. I mean, if it's a lot, I mean, I'm not always gonna be playing a loud character, but if I have to play a character that's quite quiet, I need to be considerate of how much sound I'm actually making, and being able to project it just enough to be able to get it to the point of where it's supposed to be. So that's basically it, really. Working on the accents, I do feel like it's going to be a bit more helpful. The Scottish accent will certainly be an interesting thing to work on. Looking forward to doing more with that. I suppose that's it, really.